Hey out there, I'm Madison Parker with Equip to Endure. Glad to have you, here to show you some of the things we wanted to talk about on the archery, our primitive archery. And we've had some hits on the website, Equip to Endure website, and there's been a lot of interest. And of course, with the advent, we've got a big hunting trip coming up in December. And we've had, of course, it's coming on fall. It's the end of the summer here, and everybody's looking towards their equipment for the hunting season. And we've had some hits with regard to, making a bow, making your own, equipment out of your own resources to make a bow, handmade bow, and then arrows, and then, of course, you get into a lot of stuff when you're talking about just making a bow. And it entails the arrows, because what good's a bow without an arrow? And then of course, then you got the string. Got to know how to make a string for a bow. And then of course, you got to have something to carry your arrows in, which is a quiver. And of course, you got to have equipment for your hands. You got to have equipment guards for your forearms, so the string doesn't tear your hands or your arms. Because these strings, trust me, you shoot a bow without any equipment on your arms or on your fingers, you can actually cut holes in your fingers and rip flesh off your arm, depending on which hand you hold with. The string come right across your arm. I've seen big welt 2 or 3 inches raised up where guys let the string go, shoot the arrow, and the string pulls right across his flesh there, makes a big old, like a boil almost, or like a big old blister. It can hurt you, so you gotta. But what I really mean to get to with all this is that when you start saying, I want to build a bow, what you're really saying is you want to build a bow, you want to have to build a string for the bow, you have to build arrows to shoot out of the bow, you have to have something to carry your arrows with, and of course you have to have equipment, or tack they call it, for your hands and your arms and protection. So there's a lot to just saying, I want to build a bow. But this is an Osage stave. We cut this stave from my woods right here, where I live in Northwest Florida. I found this tree. I've been all over the country, from Kentucky to Alabama to Mississippi. Let's see, where else? Georgia. We've cut Osage all over the country. Jared Evans and I have been everywhere cutting Osage, and we, like I say, we've driven literally hundreds and hundreds, up to thousands of miles, in some cases, cutting Osage. And here it is, lo and behold, about 10 years ago, we found an Osage tree that was a perfect tree, and we let it go. 10 years we let it ride, and we came back about a year ago, and we harvested this tree. This is part of the stave. This is a stave out of that tree. Now we got, I think, probably 20-25 good staves that were just about like this one right here. Really nice wood. Now this is an Osage stave with the back this is the bark, obviously. This white line right here is the sapwood, and of course this is the meat of the wood. This is the Osage stave. Now out of this stave, in honesty, I would probably make an attempt to get 2 bows out of this, at least 2 bows. Some people could possibly get 3 bows, but what can happen to you is by trying to get more than 2 bows out of this, you're going to get miserly and end up losing more wood than you gain. So it's better to settle for 2 bows out of a big stave than to try and get miserly with it and get 3 bows out of this, which you could ruin the other 2 staves when you try and take another stave out of a wood this size. So honestly, safely, you can get 2 good bows out of this. I wouldn't go any more than that. Now this thing is cured. This stave right here is cured. It's ready to go. You want to build a bow, this piece right here is ready, and it's the pre-runner to what I'm going to show you next. Now the next thing, and this is a bow that's roughed out. This is what we call a roughed out bow. It has the handle, it has the riser, the limbs are beginning to be flat, it has the pyramid, and it has the back, and it has the tips. And you can see the tips are very wide, the riser is very thick, There's a lot of wood yet on this bow, but this is what we call a roughed out stave. Probably a 2-day process right here. Unlike any other bow that's like hickory, hornbeam, of those two, dogwood, you don't have to chase the growth ring on the back of the bow if it's any of those whitewoods. But with Osage, you have growth rings in the tree, and you have to chase the growth ring or get down to a single growth ring from one tip to the other. Now the nomenclature of this bow is, this is the back, okay? That's the back. This part right here, from tip to tip. Now when I turn it and face it toward me, and I've got it in the position I'm going to hold it, when I draw it, I'm looking at the belly of the bow. This is the belly. This is the riser. This is obviously the handle, the belly here, and then on this back, the back. This is the back, this is the belly, risers, and so forth. So that's basic nomenclature of the different parts of the bow. And like I say, this is probably, for myself, about 2 days of work. For an inexperienced bowyer, a couple of weeks possibly to do this. There was a time when it may have taken me that long when I first started, but now having built so many bows and knowing how to get there, you know, the quickest way possible, I'm pretty fast with it. So this is about a 2-day process. But anyway, that is a roughed out bow, and it is Osage, and that's one growth ring from tip to tip. I go down through the rings, find the ring I want, and then pull everything off but that ring. Okay, so that's the important thing. And also remembering that when you do chase a growth ring, if you violate the ring you're trying to get to when you're chasing that ring or pulling the rest of the rings off, if you violate this ring, you got to go to the next ring down. So if you cut into the back of this bow, you're going to have to go to the next ring, and it's something that you're not going to be able to do without support. There's no way you're going to build an Osage bow without help. No way. I don't care who you are. You're not going to build an Osage bow without somebody showing you how to do it. You have to have somebody experienced. Now, are you going to be able to build a hickory bow or a hornbeam bow or things like that? Yeah, probably, because you don't have to chase the growth ring, and that is the most complicated part of building a bow. But with Osage, it's a very advanced wood. Most people will never even ever start with Osage. They go straight into whitewood first, hickory and hornbeam and things like that. Dogwood, they make good bows. But they're whitewood, they don't last as long as Osage. But the good news about them is you don't have to chase the ring on them. All you do on those is pull the bark off and the sapwood, and you're good to go. That's it. You don't have to chase the ring. You don't have to find a growth ring on the hickory. Anyway, so that's the growth ring issue. And now we're coming to the final. This is the one Jarrett and I have been working on for some time. I wrote this bow out probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it was roughed out, and I gave it to Jarrett and let him take it from that point, and he held on to it for a year or so before he messed with it. But he's been piddling around with it for probably a year and a half or so, and we slowly and painstakingly, carefully turned this into a real bow. Now, it was like a little bit advanced from this when I handed it over to Jarrett. Now, he took it from there and began to pull it down and get the limbs right. We made a string for it, and then we put sinew back. We put a sinew back, and then we put, just last weekend, we put a snakeskin, or 2 weekends ago, we put snakeskin on it, and so you can see how it looks. It's really nice. Now, this is a top flight, first class hunting bow. This is an Osage bow with sinew back and snakeskin cover. Man, there's absolutely bulletproof here. This thing right here is shoot forever. I mean, there's just nothing that could hurt this bow except dropping it in the fire and leaving it there. That would be the only way to ruin this bow. But it's done. This thing is ready to shoot. Jarrett's going to hunt with this bow this coming fall and winter season. But it's a beautiful piece, and you can see the backset on it. From back there, you can see how the limbs go back that way, which is a really, really good thing, because the performance on this bow maintains itself better. Whereas you get bows that have a tendency to get a set in the limb and they're starting to go down toward the string, you're losing performance when you get a set in your limb. When the limb is naturally bending that way, you're losing performance on that limb. Okay, so That's one of the issues you got to think about when you're making a bow. But you're probably going to get a set on almost every bow you build until you get to where you know how to make it where it won't take a set. And that's the challenge. That's the big challenge for, especially for advanced bowyers. But you know, on another video we showed you our shaving horses, our knives, and the technology we use to get to this point. I won't go into that, but we have all the equipment here for teaching anybody that's interested in making bows. We can show you and teach you how to make a bow from start to finish, and that is from going all the way to chopping the tree down, to splitting it off, to letting it cure, and then taking it from there and roughing it out, and then actually making a bow from it. So it's quite a bit of process, but this right here, shoot, it's been years. We have just very slowly and painstakingly made this bow into a real shooting bow. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end of that part. And you see the 3 different stages. You got a rough stave, you got a roughed out stave, and you got a finished bow. And that's just a good example of what it's going to be like for whoever might come and want to learn how to do these bows. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've gotten some out of this little short segment about, you know, having your own bow, making your own bow, shooting your own bows. We won't go into shooting today. That'll be another topic somewhere down the line. But for now, I just wanted to introduce you to primitive archery. This is primitive archery, and we are Equipped to Endure. We appreciate you watching. We thank you for being interested in what we do, and we hope to have you come in and learn from what we're doing. And you know, we're always here, we're always available, and remember, if you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, something big's coming.